okay?
The new Snow White actress showing up at the recent Revenge of the Sith screening was as shocking and cool as all the pitchers the Dodgers were able to sign over the offseason. Well, cool depending on who you ask, but what hasn't been as shocking is what's been going on with some of these Dodger pitchers lately. Just like Revenge of the Sith, we've seen this movie before. Over a year ago, when the Dodgers had the offseason of a lifetime, signing Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, sandwiched in between those moves was then also training for Tyler Glasnow and signing him to a big contract before having another offseason of a lifetime leading into 2025, signing Blake Snell in the process, while non-Dodger fans around the league in unison went,
"What? This is outrageous. It's unfair."
Well, skip ahead to now, and both Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow are hurt, which is about as shocking as Pedro Pascal getting cast in some new movie or TV role. As much as it sucks for even just one of them, let alone both, to be going through injuries, the fact of the matter for the Dodgers is that
You have done that yourself.
with us being in the thick of baseball season, it's obviously the perfect time now to talk about getting tickets, and that's where SeatGeek comes in to help you out with that. SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app with over 28 million downloads. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more, and they always make it really easy to see which seats are the most ideal to get. SeatGeek walks you through this with a scale of 1 to 10. Green is for the good deals, red is for the bad deals. And this is where I come in, as you can get 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek by using code iTALK10. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code iTALK10, ITALK10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app. Now back to the video. Nobody, and I mean not a single soul other than, I don't know, the Sentinelese tribe should be surprised in any way. They're the only ones who can have an excuse. Let's start with Blake Snell. He has, from the beginning, been awesome. Snell has some of the nastiest stuff in baseball, and that has never not been the case. He was drafted first round for a reason. He's won 2 Cy Young Awards for a reason. He's thrown a no-hitter for a reason. He's a straight dog on the mound. That's not a secret. The issue is he cannot stay healthy if his life depended on it. Blake Snell avoids injuries like Rocky Balboa avoids punches to the face. He just cannot be healthy for more than 1 year at the very most. He's won 2 Cy Young Awards. 2. That is 2 more than Nolan frickin' Ryan ever won. And both of them came in his only ever full season. So that alone perfectly sums his career up in a nutshell. If he's good enough to go a full year, he's the best. The issue is, it just only happens so often. After he won the Cy Young Award in 2018, he didn't have a full season for 5 years. His next Cy Young Award. Tyler Glasnow, basically the right-handed version of Blake Snell, a tall white guy who throws very hard with a nasty curveball as his best secondary pitch, who also practically began his career with the Rays. Glasnow's career really began in Pittsburgh, but who cares? Another thing in common, their health. His stuff, like Snell, is at the top in the league. When healthy, he's a straight dog. I mentioned Snell's had 2 full seasons in his 10-year career. If you want to know how many full seasons Tyler Glasnow's had, just ask Nick Cannon how many vasectomies he's had. His answer applies to both questions. Glasnow threw a career high in innings last year, and it was 134. He's thrown an average of 74 innings a year for the 10 years he's been in the league. Like Snell, Glasnow is being constantly held together by glue and duct tape. The history of this for both of them is pretty extreme and consistent, to the point the Dodgers have nobody to blame but themselves for getting themselves in this situation. I'm not even entirely saying these were bad signings. I think the potential both have, if healthy, is as appealing and clear as their unreliability to stay healthy. I can understand wanting them on your team, even if it takes a lot of money. But there's a risk you take with that. Something that's already playing out a lot. What was the Dodgers' thought process for signing them, though? I don't know if the Dodgers thought things would suddenly change. Maybe because of the fact that money doesn't obviously mean much to them. They had no issue with injury histories that went as long as Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs. To them, Glasnow and Snell are just more talented arms to have, and in this case, it's the quantity that they're looking for. Because by the time the postseason rolls around, they're bound to have at least a few ace-quality pitchers available, even if several on the roster are hurt. Glasnow is 31 years old, 10 years into his career, yet to have a full season at this point. We almost just have to accept he's never going to have a full season, and the most important thing for him and the Dodgers is him being healthy for the playoffs. Glasnow only threw 134 innings last year before being shut down and not pitching at all in the playoffs, before going on to deal with multiple different issues a month into this season. He left to start in Texas due to leg cramps that he took an IV for before his next start, only to leave that game because of shoulder discomfort. And it took not even 2 weeks into Blake Snell's Dodger career for him to hit the injured list with a shoulder injury, one that's continued to keep him out almost a month later after he felt soreness while throwing a bullpen session on his way back. So that's being delayed. Now, as most of you probably know, depth is not something the Dodgers have a problem with, so Snell and Glasnow being on the injured list isn't the end of the world, but it's still a problem that can become worse as time goes on, because depth doesn't necessarily mean people you can count on. Yoshinobu Yamamoto has been the only starting pitcher on the Dodgers to be completely reliable. He's been insanely good. But other than him, there are all question marks in the rotation, which is crazy to think considering how well received the rotation was heading into the season. I mean, people were looking at this Dodger rotation as possibly the greatest of all time. Understandably so, but that was also during a time when baseball fans forgot how baseball works and that injuries still exist among other human factors, like Roki Sasaki not being as dominant as initially expected to start his career, or Shohei Ohtani not seeming anywhere near back to be ready to pitch again, which isn't probably the case, but his return to the mound has been more of a delay than we thought. Yeah, it's almost like you can't just simply buy a championship, and so much more goes into it than that. Interesting concept. But here we are in this situation that really isn't so surprising. There's no way the Dodgers went into 2025 relying on Tyler Glasnow and or Blake Snell to be healthy the whole time. That'd be like relying on Helen Keller to be an umpire. Although, we did have Angel Hernandez in the league for over 30 years, so it's not that crazy to think. But even having that mentality with relying on one of these pitchers staying healthy would be reckless, which then begs the question, why would the Dodgers commit to these guys knowing you can't rely on them to be healthy? Or if the Dodgers genuinely believe when signing them that they can be reliable to stay healthy, that's of course dumb too. Either way, it looks bad. Either way, it's a self-inflicted wound that the Dodgers simply have to deal with. This isn't exclusive to just these two. Obviously, pitchers everywhere are getting hurt. But if there are two pitchers in all of baseball that you can confidently say will not be reliable health-wise, it's Tyler Glasnow and Blake Snell. We have a 10-year track record that tells us that. It's a mess that should have been anticipated, and now it's the Dodgers' job to clean it up. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Love you. Bye.